Yo, what up? Peace and blessings. Jumah Mubarak. Happy Juneteenth, whichever way y'all celebrate. We still not sure yet. We got a whole flag and I don't even know about it. So I'm trying to get this live in before we do our virtual Jumah, listen to our Kukba. This right here is in regards of information on the San Diego Black Panthers. Um, it's the incident that happened in El Cajon City in East County in San Diego, where a brother was gunned down by the police. He was on the spectrum, he's mentally disabled, and he was gunned down. So from that point on, the Black Panthers had what they call reactivated in San Diego. To show y'all some of these clips.
Panthers dressed in black leather jackets and berets. In the 1960s, the image of Black Panthers dressed in black leather jackets and berets made an impression on the teenage Henry Lee Wallace V.
They had muscle. They showed that they weren't scared of the police, and they educated us on the Second Amendment that we had the right to bear arms to protect ourselves.
The Panther Party and its platform appealed to young black people.
We was tired of getting brutalized and disrespected in our community. My sister went to San Diego State College, which is now San Diego State University, and she was in the Black Student Union. She and her boyfriend, Kenny Denman, was approached by the Black Panther Party in 67 to open up a chapter of the Black Panther Party.
Wallace and his whole family joined.
I want people to realize that San Diego itself has never been the utopia that it claimed to be. There have always been racism in this city. The Black Panther Party, when it came out to fight the injustices of the.
I can definitely detest to the racism in San Diego, be it underhanded or straight blatantly. Times currently, but things may have been changing, but it's still systematic within the police force, military trying to keep the America's finest city. That's the slogan to it. So, powers that be is trying to keep that image.
A system.
David F. Walker has been researching the Black Panthers for a graphic novel coming out next year. That iconic image of non submissive black men with guns came to define the movement, and it scared people.
Can be pretty terrifying to people, and deservedly so, because the people that were most afraid were the oppressors, the people that were in charge of maintaining the status quo.
But what scared then FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover even more were the programs the Panthers ran.
Hoover is very clear that the breakfast program is the thing that he hated the most. He says in some of these documents, in some of these memos, is like, if the Panthers succeed in winning the hearts and minds of the people, we've lost.
J. Edgar Hoover, Mr. FBI, his biggest issue with the Panthers was the food that they was given to the community. He said if they win the hearts and minds of the people, then they have lost. Now, what are you trying to win? Who are we? His position, chairman in the FBI. Like, this is crazy. This is not conspiracy. This is real spiel right here.
The Panthers wanted to teach self-reliance, and that was perceived as dangerous. In San Diego, Wallace says the chapter's programs came under attack of the government.
Because they didn't want us to help. So the Black Panther Party was trying to empower the community at the time, and the government, with our money, your money, used that to repress any progress that would happen in the ghettos of America.
Current protests give Wallace hope, but he sees them as the result of groundwork laid in the 1960s.
The seeds that was planted back in those days are fertilized now. They're turning into plants, beautiful flowers and stuff, because the stuff that the Black Panther Party tried to do back in those days was get all the people together and let them know that you're being exploited by the system.
The FBI worked to systematically destroy the Black Panther Party, yet Wallace says progress was still made. But injustices still abound today, which is why he wants current protesters to continue to demand change.
We got to go all the way to the core of the issue and get rid of this disease like this coronavirus, get rid of the
Now, this was during the COVID protests, I believe, that I mentioned that I experienced. Um, but this is still lays hold today. You know, who knows what's going to go on? It's a lot of families. You know, it's a border town, asylum city, as they call it. Who knows what's going to go on? What's going to transpire? We need to protect ourselves. Um, they even say that people are getting snatched up and mistakes are being made. You know, so everyone just be safe.
racism disease.
Wallace is now chairman of the reactivated San Diego Black Panther Party, and he has a message for the people.
The Black Panther Party stand with those that stand on the side of justice. But you got to understand that everybody need to come to the table. You can't sit up there and say, oh, those poor Black people, oh, they just brutalize them. Get off your ass and do something. Because if we work together, we're going to have a better society. Then we won't have to worry about people getting killed in the street or people being discriminated against. America is land of the plenty, and the wealth should be shared. And I'm talking to you capitalists out there. Y'all need to be more proactive in returning things back to the community so we don't have this situation. Power to the people.
Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
You feel me? Now, I know y'all want to know what's going on. You got to know. Is there information? Is there certain things that we could get to see what's going on if you're in the San Diego area or Southern California? Yes, there is some information. So, July 5th, something called a Gray Program, walk-ins. The location will be more than likely given out later on. There's a website you can go on for more information. One of my sisters in the Freedom Fight had let me know some information. Shout out to you. Maybe she'll be on the stream one of these days. So the website is right here. It is www.blackpantherpartysd.org. blackpantherpartysd.org. Let's check out their page. Again, the Gray Program for walk-ins and information is July 5th, San Diego.
A room in the Malcolm X Library in Valencia Park fills with chatter. More than a dozen people arrive for a meet and greet with the Black Panthers.
Thank you, everyone, for making it to the meet and greet.
Half a century later, their 10-point platform remains the same. But copies are being passed into a new generation of hands. At one end of the table sits their Minister of Information, a 24-year-old in all black, curly hair spilling out of a black beret.
I like my speech and my action to align. So if I'm saying I'm a Panther, then you're gonna see a Panther.
She goes by Fiel.
A lot of us prefer the pseudonyms just for identity protection as much as possible, because the counterintelligence programs are still operating against, especially Black radical organizations.
Fiel had been hunting for an outlet for what she calls revolutionary change.
But I wasn't really vibing with, I wasn't really fitting with a lot of the movements that were happening around me.
She says she mostly saw protests with no follow-up.
We're here, we're angry, we're a lot of times like facing a lot of violence, and then literally nothing is changing.
She learned about the Black Panthers in a TV documentary.
We stand on the eve of a Black revolution, brothers.
And looked to see if they were...
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Najee, but I don't know currently what's going on in San Diego, but I'll get the information, inshallah. I'll be heading down to the Gray Program July 5th, and I'll be streaming an episode, so catch me live.
Still around. She joined the local chapter last year. They run a community garden, feed unhoused people, and run a free store on what used to be a notorious site of gang activity. They file complaints against the police and observe stops in their neighborhoods. Through the programs, they teach the community how to empower themselves. The Panthers were mostly active in the 1960s. Their iconic black berets, brought out of the history books and back into the streets of San Diego, grab attention.
Every time we go out, it's always like that. They're like, oh my God, there's Panthers? Y'all are Panthers? What are you doing? You know?
Can I ask what your family thought about you getting involved?
I didn't tell them at first.
She says she was nervous about what they might think. Fiel and the Panthers face a lie that has survived across decades.
They're a black hate group. They're just the black version of the Ku Klux Klan. You know, these are all things that were put out to deliberately mislead.
Misinformation put out by the FBI, who saw their organizing and socialist ideology as a threat. The government's efforts caused the Black Panthers to go largely inactive by 1970, but they reconvened for a 50th anniversary in late 2016.
All power to the people. All power to the people.
This was around the time of a guy by the name of Alfred Alongo was killed in El Cajon.
Alongo, black, unarmed, and in mental crisis, was shot and killed by the police who were called to assist him. Original members decided the community still needed the Black Panther Party, so they brought it back to life. Police violence is one of many issues the Panthers organized around in the 60s that persists today.
Right at the moment that the Panthers were organizing against incarceration,
I even had my own place ran through by the police, helicopters and all that. Internal affairs had to come because now the police was wilding. Like, word.
There was less than 1/10 of the people in prison then that are in prison now.
It's not just in San Diego. The Panthers are reviving in places across the country to address worsening issues like incarceration, housing, and food insecurity. But San Diego Panthers Chief of Staff Karan Fields says their vision is bigger than their service projects.
These are Band-Aids, right? Like, these are programs designed for survival, right? So this is the end goal.
The goal, he says, is to empower the community to change their conditions, end the need for Band-Aids, end the need for the Black Panthers.
As long as we need Panthers, then our job isn't done.
The party now vets new members, including background checks. There's also a new multicultural branch called the Panther Party, and they don't open carry guns.
The most serious weapon we carry around is an ink pen.
This is the actual application to be able to join.
Applications close August 31st. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.
So I don't know if the Panther Party is a new one for multicultural, they said, or if there is a Black Panther Party with the Panther Party for like their side group. Because I did hear in the past they had other types of Panthers in the past.
Field interview.
Oh, so you did an FI, okay.
Yeah.
San Diego police data show officers are much more likely to stop and use force on Black and Latino residents than white residents. And KPBS has found that many records of officer misconduct are missing any information on disciplinary action. Some San Diegans are volunteering their free time to create more police accountability. San Diego Police Department did not respond to requests for comment.
My name is Malcolm Mutaki, and I'm a resident of San Diego, a descendant of enslaved Africans in America trying hard to survive.
Mutaki helped form a cop watch group about 5 years ago. For decades, there have been cop watch groups all over the country.
This is just a continuance of a long, long legacy.
The participants of this one in Southeast San Diego say it's breaking generational curses by crossing deep divides. People who may not otherwise team up. Crips.
That's a famous Crip right there. Well, that's what's up. Seeing them together for the real purpose, going on the real cross towns or the real ops, protecting what's really precious, which is each other.
Bloods, Black Panthers, Muslims, and Christians all meet on a Thursday night at what used to be called the Four Corners of Death, a notorious site of gang violence.
We got Bloods and...
It's right over there by Lincoln, right over in Lincoln. They used to live right up the street on Imperial, by the Encanto side. Got Green Castle, got that taco. Ooh, that taco shop right there, boy.
Crips out here, so
they pile into cars together to monitor the police, whose salaries they pay with their taxes. The windows are down. The cars communicate by walkie-talkie. Phone call tips and a police scanner tell them where to go. The mood feels light. They joke and laugh as they search for police stops. I ask them if it's because power in numbers lets them feel comfortable around the police. They're quick to correct me. Michael White says they laugh because they have to.
we're traumatized.
Some of them have criminal records, but they say the trauma is not just from the police. It's that they watch their friends get shot down on a corner one day, and they come back the next with candles and flowers, hanging out like nothing ever happened. Though they're from rival neighborhoods, White says this shared struggle binds them together.
We think we're enemies, but when you really look at it, the police and the system is the real enemy, and we all getting oppressed the same. But we tired of getting shot and killed and locked up for nothing. So we put them differences to the side.
The dozen cop watchers divide roles: note takers, recorders, and talkers.
So they put them differences to the side. There's gonna be a lot of that going on. Right there, skyline right there.
They park by stops and approach the scene, maintaining some feet of distance. Their shirts say, "We are not afraid" on the front, and on the back, "Don't shoot, just filming." Cop watcher Karan Field says the simple act of observing, a legal right, changes police behavior.
Now they got some customer service. Now that, they out there shaking hands and, hey, sorry we had to bother you, but in the state of California.
Observation do make them people's, you feel me, act different. Most definitely. They've been moving in the shadows in the open forever. We gotta, I heard up in Oakland, some of they cliques that mob up to a law library and read some law shit just so they could juke right. No negativity uplifted here, but knowledge is power.
California.
We stop a few times. At the first stop, police appear to be detaining a man walking in the street. But cop watcher Musla Abdul Hafiz recognizes the man from the community. He says the man is not drunk, but deaf and intellectually disabled, and offers to walk him across the street.
Come on. Let's sit down, because they're going to take you to go back in the street, though. All right?
The cops let him go.
Now imagine if he was by himself and he got mental issues and they think he drunk walking on the street. Look how innocent that was. You feel me? Like sound he made, you can tell. You feel me?
At another stop, police question a man whose license they say isn't valid. Mutaki prevents the car from getting impounded by driving the man home himself. Back in the car, I ask the cop watchers.
You all ever nervous doing this?
Nah, I'm more nervous for not doing this.
They admit it's risky, especially for those on parole, but say it's worth.
She said, "Are you nervous doing this?" He said, "Nah, I'm nervous not doing this." Word. Probably meet that brother, inshallah, next month. July 5th, you heard? The 5th.
Worth it. Besides observing stops, Mutaki says they connect people to bail funds, give civil rights trainings, and help people file complaints against the police. Hundreds since the group began. The San Diego Police Department promised 2 years ago to reduce racial disparities in stops. But while the number of stops decreased, racial disparities increased. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.
So on this site, we have home, history, Panther Media, store, events, 10-point platform, recruitment. If you're interested in getting information on recruitment, just click on the recruitment. It'll redirect you to the information. That's www.blackpantherpartysd.org. www.blackpantherpartysd.org. Also want to give my condolences to brother, almost like an uncle to me, my father's best friend, Brother Victor Friday, and his family. You know, my condolences. He lost his mother today, so prayers up today in Jumah for Brother Victor and his family. I mean, so thank you for coming through. Looking at this, I see the algorithm, changing up. I see certain things. I gotta stay consistent. That's what I'm gonna do with y'all. I'll probably do one more because I got the work and stuff. I hit y'all, when I was off, I was hitting y'all with the whoops. But we're gonna keep it going, inshallah. Black light out. Thank you for coming up.